we have a fair amount of students at Wentworth and Roger Williams and other schools across the country, frankly, that listen. So when you say you want to close out the month within 4 days, what does closing out a month mean?
I'm going to try my best. High level. So in the construction industry, you work for a month, you bill, you get paid a month later. So the goal is to get all of your invoices out the end of that month, the first month, month 1. So day 30 of that month, you get your invoices out. And then it takes time to do all your cost whip reporting, which is work in place, all your projects you have to go through. We could have 10, 15 jobs going at once. So we do all our projections in our cost reports. We put all our G&A in. We put all these numbers into a model, and then we close the month. The month is closed. We see where we close the month. We know where we are for profits and loss, over billings, under billings, all those types of things for that month, and it gives us a projection of where we are for that month compared to where we are for the quarter and where we are for the year. Some companies don't do that every quarter. We do it within 5 to 10 days of that business days of that month ending, closing the month, and have a report. Then we meet with our financial team, our outside accountant, AAF CPAs, and we go through the numbers, look at where we were last month, look where we were for the quarter, and just make projections and where do we need to move things around, why did things change. It helps keep a pulse on the financial health of the company.
Yeah, that reminds me, like, thinking back to like Susan Greeley. She talked about, she's a CFO, and was at, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. She was at it was a large general contractor that you were, Peyton, I want to say. She was with Peyton when they went under. And she just learned a lot about, having those controls and not having those controls and what can go wrong. And now she's worked at a couple firms where she goes there and becomes like CFO / actually more like COO, and helps them kind of get their companies in line. And she had a consulting business for a while based off of it. And I imagine if you're not doing that to some degree, you're flying blind, right?
It can be scary, especially something so volatile like construction, where materials change, labor changes, work stuff comes and goes, pandemics happen. If you don't know where you are month to month, you could be in some trouble. And making sure your taxes are properly allocated, like all those type of things are important. Your health insurance bills, all the things that we didn't know about 3 years ago are now we had to learn. And we have systems in place now that manage this really well for us. And the team that Sonia and Dan, they work so well on this stuff. And it's for most of my time now is just reviewing reports and not really having to. I dig into a couple if I see a percentage change a little bit on a job, but for the most part, it's just checks and balances at this point.
Now, does it create like almost like a dashboard for you, so you can kind of just see where everything's at, kind of, okay, and then you can kind of see if something falls?
It's really simple. It's by job percentages, and I have different alarms almost set up, so if something drops a different way, I can see it, and it really works well.
Right.
Yeah.
This is.
We're actually using the tools that we built 4 years ago properly now.
Okay.
And that's what's nice about it. We're getting our value now. We were overpaying before, and now we're not. We're now getting the value for what we use.
It's funny, the timing's interesting. Just last week I was on a podcast. It was an Irish company, and they're called Live Costs. And their whole thing is they were a plug-in to different Sage or whatever other accounting softwares, and they create a dashboard so they collect all the historical data. So if you knew it knows how much you were paying for plywood per sheet last month, and if it's gone up and it uses AI and everything, where it can machine learning to just like, if you get a slip, it just knows, it'll read the title block, the dollar amount, it knows all the things. It's pretty slick. But their whole thing is, when I kind of put they weren't doing me, but I was kind of curious about what they were doing when I pushed them on it. I was like, where do you see, what are the problems, the same problems you're seeing? And he goes, most people are just not aware. He goes, they don't know where their money, where they are making money and where they are losing money. They know if the job made money or didn't make money, but you know, is there a particular piece of the work that you're losing money on every time in another place where you make it? Like, and he said in the other place, he goes, we just found was overcharging. You're getting stuff from suppliers and vendors. He goes, it's great that you have relationships and you stay with the same people, but we were noticing, after, 18 months, this thing has gone up 30% in price and no one noticed it because just bills are coming in. And so just that access and being aware, and that's why when you started talking about doing it monthly, I was like, there's like a tie there, like, because you got to be aware or else it can really get away from you. So I like that.